Congratulations, Nina Turner. You are now becoming a threat to the corporate Democrats that, of course, have a nice stronghold on the corporate media. So Peter Rosenstein wrote this in the Huffington Post. And if you go to his Twitter profile, he says he is a Hillary supporter. So we know who he is. And it's a complete smear piece in the Huffington Post about Nina Turner, who's now starting to get a lot of national attention. And she's on CNN saying stuff like, nobody in my district or in Flint, Michigan cares about Russia. Flint, Michigan people care about drinkable water. People care about health care for everybody. Bernie Sanders, of course, the most popular politician in America right now, is also slammed in this. Here's the title of the article. Nina Turner, Our Revolution President, from Democrat to Irrational. See, we've talked, it's so funny. Like, once you start paying attention and you see how they treat progressives, it's just, this is just hilarious what Peter Rosenstein is doing. It's just hilarious. He's a Hillary backer, which means he's a corporate Democrat. So progressives, they start getting real traction. The media attacks them. We talked about this. Jimmy Dore talked about this with the UK media and Jeremy Corbyn. And here it is again. They're going, Nina Turner, so when she was in the Democratic Party and was playing nice with the Democratic Party and even, you know, had nice things to say about Hillary, everybody, she's a good Democrat. When she's like, wait a minute, she starts realizing this is completely broken, the system is nonsense, then she's irrational. See how they treat progressives? You're crazy, you're irrational, you're pie in the sky, the Burn Bros are violent, whatever kind of nonsense they can put on there. This article, and I'll read it. I'll read it. She says, like, she was interviewed by Collar Meyerson and asked, how will our revolution, right? So she's taken over the Our Revolution movement. That's Bernie Sanders' organization. How will our revolution relate to the DNC, the DCCC, the DSCC, that kind of establishment that so many activists and politicians, including you, have frequently criticized? Nina Turner says, I don't think it is our job or our obligation to fit in. It is their job to fit in with us. That mirrors how Senator Bernie Sanders has handled his entire political career. Here's the next line. It is also why he has few real accomplishments to his name over 40 years in office. Oh. You know what? It's that kind of shit where, like, draft Bernie, just tell the DNC to suck it. Fuck them. The only reason progressives are even remotely entertaining the DNC as a shred of hope in 2018 and 2012 is because of Bernie Sanders. That's the only reason. If Bernie Sanders says, guess what? We're done with the DNC. Our revolution, we're going independent. We're starting our own party, which is what he should do. The Whigs were this big party. This big party, man. They had a lot of power. And this crazy guy Lincoln started this Republican Party. I don't know. And he wanted to abolish slavery and all this other crazy business. The Whigs are gone. The Democratic Party needs to just go away because they're not real opposition to the Republicans. This article has more ridiculous bullshit, right? He writes, it may behoove Ms. Turner to take a few moments on this July 4th to reread our Constitution and realize to make progress on her goals may require some compromise. Yeah, why don't you read it, Rosenstein, and realize that there's no mention of the Republicans or Democrats in the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't say the elections are going to be run by these two big parties. Doesn't, so you might want to reread it. You might want to understand what a representative democracy actually is. And so they talk about, so Meyerson asked questions about some progressives like Sherrod Brown and Tammy Baldwin that didn't back Bernie. So if they go to seek re-election, what and how will our revolution deal with them? Nina Turner says if they want our revolution's endorsement, they will seek it like in everybody else. So they got to start with the local affiliates. And if the local affiliates say that this is the person that we want to back them, then there it is. There it is. Oh, so like a real system. So they got to go to the local affiliates. And if the people say, yeah, these progressives, just because they didn't back Bernie, and he criticizes that. He says, so our revolution isn't about supporting progressives or helping people learn how the system works. No. She just explained what the system works. You're coming from the Clinton corporate minefield, the mindset, which lays out a minefield for anyone that opposes you. Anyone that ever badmouthed the Clintons, they crush them. The Clintons crush them. They crush them hard. That's how you're used to. They're trying. That's the whole thing. The whole point of our revolution is the system is completely broken. That's why a bunch of people didn't vote for your nonsense, right? So he says, so our revolution isn't about supporting progressives or helping people learn. Yeah, she just said it is. She just said it is. She just said it is in the interview. See, this is what they do. So if you're just skimming through this article, and let's say you're just sort of a neoliberal or whatever, you're just, oh, you kind of vote. You weren't a big fan of Hillary, but you voted for her because Trump's evil, and oh my God, more people should have voted for Hillary, and oh, Jill Stein, and you've kind of heard this name Nina Turner floating around. And you're not paying too much attention, and you skim through this article. You're going to come away with it. It's like you're going to come away with it and be like, oh, see, our revolution is about crushing. It's just about Bernie and it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Here's another thing. He's also goes in here talking about how he's talking about, boy, the donors to our revolution, they better be aware of what Nina's doing. So he's trying to scare away money because our revolution isn't taking big corporate money. So this is what, since that's what Bernie said, that's what Tulsi Gabbard has said, I'm not taking corporate money. I don't want corporate money. So then their only tactic, because they can't fight against it. They've been taking corporate money. They're corrupt. So when a non-corrupted, a person who doesn't take their corporate money and doesn't play the corporate corrupt political game comes along and says, the people want this. We're only going to take the people's money. We don't want corporate money. So then they have to try to scare away the people. So John Oliver did this, who I liked a lot of what John Oliver said, but when Jill Stein was starting to carve in too much to Hillary's vote because liberals and progressives were like, oh, Hillary doesn't represent me. John Oliver, who's hired by a giant multinational conglomerate, one of the 6 that control all the major media, went after Jill Stein and her donations went down. So they know that this tactic works. So if we start saying, I don't know about this Nina Turner, man, she's not a friend of progressives, then anyone that's just kind of paying attention and is just sort of looking for an organization to pay attention to might be scared to give them their money because of and if it's in Huffington Post, the Huffington Post is on our side, right? Liberals, right? Huffington Post, they make some good coins. Be careful. They're not your friend. So they talk about, oh, our revolution is about dividing and conquer, But here's his last paragraph, right? Bernie Sanders, Nina Turner, and our revolution have every right to speak out, as do they choose. Oh, so that's in the last paragraph. But if they really want to move forward a progressive agenda, they will help to unite progressives, not divide. They are. You are dividing progressives. You are part of the problem. Corporate, every time a progressive, they never take shit. You notice how Nina Turner and Bernie Sanders aren't taking shit from the Republicans? They're not taking shit from Fox News isn't coming after her? Huh. It's the Huffington Post. It's the Washington Post. It's MSNBC. This is who goes after progressives because this is how the corporate machine works. They put corporate Democrats, they put corporate neoliberals as mouthpieces on publications like Huffington Post. This guy's on Twitter. Peter Rosenstein's on Twitter. I retweeted this and called him out for his bullshit. Let him know. Let him know what you think. You know? Because this is what they're going to be doing. This is how they're going to do this. This is how they're going to say, does our revolution not have a responsibility to the people who fund the organization and the ones Turner wants to recruit to explain a simple fact? There will be a Republican or Democratic Speaker of the House of Representatives and a Democrat or Republican majority in the House and Senate. There will not be a Libertarian or Green Party member in those positions. He's telling you, if you're a third-party voter, you want real change, fuck you. There's two parties. You get two choices, folks. Coke, Pepsi. Don't come here with any sort of vegan smoothie bullshit. You drink your Coke, you drink your Pepsi. You want Diet Coke? We'll give you Diet Coke. You want Coke Zero? You want Pepsi Light? You want Lime Pepsi Light Diet? You get all, these are the choices, and they think they're giving you a bunch of choice, and it's Coke and it's Pepsi. He talks about how she criticized John Ossoff. She wouldn't get behind a Republican. Or wouldn't get behind the Democrat, John Ossoff, in Georgia. He's like, oh my God, how could she do that? How could she not do that? When the Democrats had a chance, however small, to win Georgia, she criticized Democratic candidate John Ossoff for not being progressive enough. Because he wasn't. And these Democratic, these DNC assholes, and these corporate media fuckheads, see, they just can't believe it. Because the Democratic Party is entitled to your vote. If you're liberal or left of center in the slightest, they own your vote. And how dare you question one of our bullshit candidates? How dare you question it? How dare you question that? Okay? Get your mind right. Get in line with John Ossoff. Oh, we could have won it, but Nina Turner. It's Nina Turner's fault. Once again, they blame progressives for their bullshit message. They have no message. They have no policy. John Ossoff's ad is a laser beam going through giant glass corporate buildings. Oh, okay. I've seen the Transformers ride at Universal has more of a political message than that. So it's Nina Turner's fault that John Ossoff lost Georgia because the corporate Democratic Party. This is such bullshit. But just keep writing this nonsense, Peter Rosenstein. You're part of the problem. You're shitting on progressives. You're a big Hillary supporter. I don't know how much money they've made you or whatever, but I don't trust a word you say, dude. You're a liar. Because Nina Turner is talking about real issues. She's talking about the people that she's met all over this country that have real problems. She's like, they're not talking about. I did that whole video on her. So, another smear tactic. Nice try, Pete. Nice try. More examples of how most of the media is bullshit. And people think they're getting real news from the Huffington Post and the Washington Post and MSNBC and CNN, and they're not. They're getting corporate bullshit. And anytime they go after a progressive, anytime, it's because the progressives are threatening them. Because if real progressives come in there and there's actually real independent media, then Peter Rosenstein's out of a job pushing the corporate Democrat agenda. In some cases, they're worse than the Republicans. This nonsense. And they can't take responsibility. It's a sickness. It's like a psychological illness that they can't go, wow, we've screwed up. It's literally like an abuser, like someone that abuses you when you were a kid or something like that. And then you cry and complain and they go, see what you made me do? And they fucking hit you some more. That's how crazy psychotic abuse. That's what Trump talks like. They sound just like crazy Trump people. Only they have a rainbow flag. They're pro-choice. That's the difference. Oh, wow, I'm getting physically and sexually abused by a pro-choice gay marriage person. Oh, that's so much better than being sexually abused by a pro-gun person. That's basically what they're saying. So fuck Peter Rosenstein, fuck the Huffington Post. And thank you for coming to YouTube to get your news, your media, because I'm not some asshole that was paid to say this because I support Hillary, who's pro-war and pro-banking. Hillary is not for the average human being. She's for the wealthy elite. That's who she is. And Peter Rosenstein is a mouthpiece for the wealthy elite. My Patreon link is below because I don't have a foundation that my parents run that pays me $100 million a year.